Hi, Jade. How are you?
Hey Michelle, doing pretty good. How have you been this week?
I'm doing great. I love to start with a fun fact, and I'll ask you if you have one, but no pressure. I found this before we started chatting, and so we're talking about networking today. We're going to meander through the conversation. This is a statistic from HubSpot, so I'm assuming I can't find a date on it, but 85% of jobs are filled through networking. I'm not shocked by that. And yet, I can't tell you how many people that still get frustrated by sending, applications the old school way without fostering their network. So that's my fun fact. Do you have any fun facts that you would like to share?
Um, I don't have any data on this. This is just from experience. You'd be shocked how many people know other people. When you start
Mm,
networking, people do think of it strictly as for business, but even in your personal life, you'll be surprised how well connected people can be.
right. You know what's funny about that is so I'm the oldest of eight. Okay.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, massive. And I'm so they'll let's say that I was born and raised in Maryland, and let's say my youngest sister is in the mall, and she's walking through the mall, and somebody goes, "You're a Huseman," and she's like, "Oh, which one do you know?" Which Huseman do you know? Because depending on what your answer is, I'm going to say yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Is that fantastic?
I'm from a family that's similar. I'm only the oldest of three, but my sisters learn the same question. It's, hey, you're Jade's sister. Yeah, first
Yeah,
question is why are you asking?
that's right.
The second will depend on my answer.
Exactly. So, but then I think that's what you're getting at, right? I mean, I think that it's like you might bump into somebody that says, "Oh, I know you look like," or "Do you know so and so?" That I think that's the point. Maybe I think that's where you're going.
Yeah, with networking, the biggest thing I can say is I do it on, I prefer to establish actual relationships with these people that I
Mm,
network with. So for me, the biggest thing is getting involved with your community and getting to know people. um, like I mentioned before, people know people. And even
right.
outside of business, everyone has a little bit of insight that you may not know. Like we talked about on one of the threads you and I were part of, in terms of business, I love, even if I can't help someone professionally, I like to stay in touch because they have insight in an industry or in an area that I may not know anything about. And
Right.
most people are willing to at least engage in that discussion and, like you said, share information. People love sharing information.
Mm. I'm guilty as charged.
Hey,
uh,
it never hurts to be an educator.
Well, and okay, so and I think I'm fascinated by like I'll find a piece. We were talking about this before. We were talking about networking and capturing the data or the our people, who are our people. So how I'll explain how I do it, but how do you manage your network and stay in touch with the people in your network? How do you do it?
So I do have my business and my personal network because I do this in my daily life as well.
Are they
But
combined or separate?
there's a little bit of crossover, but a lot of times the
Okay.
business, I do work a lot with like CEOs and things like that, and their time is really limited. So I do try to at least touch base with everyone, send a message, or like you said, if I find something, hey, I thought of this for you, I stay engaged in conversations. If I find something, I'll make a note of it. Hey, this pertained to a conversation we had. I thought you could use this. With my personal life, it's at least sending a text, an email, popping in and saying, hey, just saying hi,
Mm.
keeping in touch with everyone. And part of that is also when I set up these connections, I make it clear in the beginning. It's set up that expectation of I'm staying in touch, clear communication. My intent is I'd like to work with you. If not on a professional level, I'd like to stay in touch for networking and go from there.
And do you so I went to a conference just recently where they suggested that I'm connecting because I'm reconnecting, or I'm connecting with you because, and then you fill in the blank for whatever reason, as opposed to checking in or touching base. I mean, what's your thought on that?
That does help. It depends on who you're talking to, and what that expectation is. If you're setting up that connection in the first place, yes, that is actually helpful to say, hey, this is this is who I am, this is what I'd like to do. It sets up that expectation, which establishes a baseline of trust with whoever you're connecting with.
Mm. So, we were prior. We started. We started the live before we started, but right.
Mhm.
You had asked me how do I manage my connections and my network, and I said I don't. Well, I use it. I use a lot. I use social media probably more than my CRM or database or something like that, and I think it I think it gets to what you just said. It's more organic. So as I think of something comes across my desk or in my email or social media or whatever, and I'll think of someone immediately that I'll share that with. And I'll send them a text or an email, or usually in LinkedIn or Messenger because it's faster for me to do that. Hey, I was thinking of you and I thought you could use this. I mean, obviously, if it's an email, then I'll just forward it. But I don't know that I'm purposeful with my network in that way. However, I do. My intention is to touch people and just say, "Hey, here's something I thought you could use." And by the way, how are you doing? What's new for you? Do you do it similarly, or do you do it with more intention?
I do try to be intentional about my network. While I do connect with people because I love to help folks, when I start that, when I do my networking, it is about being purposeful. I either want to help you professionally, I'd like to work with you because I think either I can help you or you might be able to help me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I do prefer the more, like you said, the more organic. That's where the off the top of the head, like, hey, yeah, I thought of you.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like I mentioned before, when I say I'm intentional, I do actually have a list, kind of a list of contacts that I have in different industries with different people that, if someone asks, like, hey, do you know someone? Yes, I do. Let me see who I have. Because for me, networking is about that give and take. It's not just
Agreed.
taking, it's you do have to give some back, and I love to give.
That's cool. And I think I don't remember who shared this with me, but give love to get love is what we like to say. So I think that's where you're going with that. How do you? I mean, what's your thought on helping people if they want to expand their network? Um, what would that look like? How would they do it, and why? Why would they do it?
So
I know
the
there's a
how,
lot
what, and
packed in
why.
there.
Yeah, the how, what, and why. That is a lot to unpack. So a lot of my experience in networking actually came from when I first started. And I'll admit, when I first started, it was connect with anyone you can and figure it out from there.
Mm,
That is okay to start out with because getting to know people in general, you've got to start somewhere. But when you do reach out, take a look at what they do. If you're on LinkedIn, it's right there that tells you what their interests are. A lot of people list what their goals are when they meet with you or what they'd like to do if you connect with them. So use that. If it's on social media, if you're having just a conversation, ask, what is it that you do?
mm.
I'd like to work with you. I would like to get started on networking. Here's what I would like from you. Is there something that I can help you with?
And so
Sorry, I'm
no, you're
turning up the
fine. Can you
volume
hear
a
me
little
okay?
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
all
turning up the
right.
volume a little
I'm
bit.
usually pretty loud, so
I have the opposite problem most times.
yeah. And so why would someone want to expand their network? So they're like in a business setting and in a professional setting. So if they're not a business, well, if they're a business, it's probably a little makes more sense. But if they're not a business, why would they want to do that? So if you can answer both, that would be
Mhm.
fantastic.
So on a business end, it's fairly obvious. You do want to have those connections to people, whether that be for services, for a product, what have you, even if it's in terms of mentoring. Some of that can actually cross over into personal as well. I do a lot of networking for personal reasons because I do have a lot of mentors in different areas of my life. Networking is a good way to get in touch with
Hmm.
reliable people because at that point you have the community support, you have word of mouth, which I find is actually pretty reliable. You also can, similar to what you would for a business, say like, hey, I need a roofing guy.
Right.
Oh, hey, I know Bob John up the street. You can do things like that both for personal and for business. For business, that's what people think of because that's what we see it most commonly in, but we do it in the day to day without thinking as well. And it's important to be part of your community. This is where you live, this is who you interact with on the day to day. Why not get connected? Why not see what you can do to give back?
I think what one of the things that I see people struggle with, and I don't know, I mean, it's maybe it's foreign to me because I've leveraged the organic approach for, and I mean, I'm intentional from a, if I'm looking at a specific scope of work and then I'm looking at working with some people in that way, so that's where I'm intentional. But where I was going was I see a lot of people struggle with leveraging their networks on a regular basis, and then they're needing something, right? So they need something from the people that are surrounding them, either professionally or personally. And then that's when they reach out. Like, I need help with X. I need this. I need that. And it's me, 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 me. Take, 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 take. And it's less give and take for the duration. Do you see that too, or is it just? I mean, what's your perspective on that? What I just said.
So I do see that, and sometimes it is actually, it can be hard because we're trying to manage our day to day lives and our focus on what we need to get done for our day.
Mm,
That's actually where my list comes in handy. I
mm,
found keeping track of that because you'll get caught up in a conversation because I do prefer the organic getting to know people. Something will come up like, hey, for one earlier today, I was talking to a lady about our pets. I have two
mhm,
fur babies at home that drive me absolutely
mhm.
nuts. She has, I believe she said, a pit bull. She's like, yeah, I'm actually, I gotta take him to the vet, but our vet can't get him in. And I was like, hey, I know a smaller clinic just down the road. Let me pull up
Oh,
the
nice.
information for you. And I gave it
There
right
you
to her.
go.
Yeah, it keeps it, sometimes those, you don't have to force it. Just keep in mind that you do have that network in the back of your mind so that when someone says, like, hey, I need this or I'm looking for this, you have a way to go, hey, I might have somebody. Let me take a look into it for you.
Nice, nice. Well, and I guess my thought on that too is if someone struggles with either growing their network, or even keeping their network alive, right? Alive and well and healthy. That's a term. A healthy network, right? um, Nothing would prevent someone from looking at the people in their network, or their tribe, whatever term you want to use, and doing an outreach, I don't know, couple people a week. That's not hard, right? Or is it?
I,
Is that
no,
hard?
no, honestly, the, I like to go for some like networking, the ripple effect. Do you know what that is?
No, do share. Well, maybe I
So
do, but I don't know
it
the
has
term.
different applications and it's been translated in different ways. But I think it was originally used for like the Spreading Kindness Act that went around a few years back with the hashtag ripple effect. So basically,
Yeah,
the
I
idea of
like
it
what
is
you're
if
talking
you
about there.
spread one kindness to one person,
Okay.
you've reached one person and they do, well, to five people, and then they do it to five people, and so on, and it creates this ripple effect.
Mm,
Networking can be the same way. You meet one new person each day
okay.
and just talk about a little bit about what you do and say, like, hey, I'd like to work with you on networking. Here's my information. And can you just give it to one person that you know and go from there? And then, even in terms of your direct network, one person a day, that's 5 days 5 in a week if you work a 5-day-a-week job.
Yep.
You know, multiply that by months and years doing this, even your direct network grows. Now imagine if they pass on, even just a handful of those people pass on your information to one person each day, like you've asked, or even one a
Nice.
week.
Nice. So, what else is important for people to know when it comes to networking and growing your, well, it also could be growing your influence too, right? And influencing give and take, the give love to get love. What else? I love the ripple effect, by the way. That's really good. I mean, maybe I've heard of that, but the visuals fantastic.
And that's pretty much what it is, though. That's what you're trying to do, is create that ripple effect. Like you said, your influence, you want to spread that so people know you and trust you as well. The more people get to know you, the more they work with you, the better rapport you're going to build with the people around you that you intend to work with. Something else that it comes across really salesy, but I mentioned I've done sales before, so we mentioned this in one of our polls that we did. When you're doing networking, have your pitch ready. As salesy as that sounds, the pitch does have a point. It's a clear, concise reason for what you want to do or what your goals are. And I actually find modifying that concept for every conversation helps. Set up that clear expectation at the beginning of every conversation you have, even if you've already established the connection for your network. Every time you reach out and you have a direction you want to go with it, set that up.
Do you,
like, hey, I'm reaching out because I'd like to do this, or I thought of you and that made me think of this. I'd like to talk to you about this.
Nice. And how often how do you balance the give and the take? So if you're reaching out because you're wanting something from that person versus you're giving them something, what's your thought on balancing both of those?
It can be difficult. I will say sometimes it is hard to keep track of everyone in the network and make sure that I'm distributing that give equally. Sometimes in terms of business, it's leads. Someone will ask, like, hey, I need an accountant. Do you know somebody?
Yeah.
Sure, let me get you in touch with a couple of people. And that's actually something that I'll do, is I won't just give one reference. I'm lucky enough to have a decent network that I can actually give a few, not only for the sake of my network, but it's also because I don't know the specific needs of the person I'm working with. So I want to give them options with people that I know will take care of them.
Nice. So I want folks, go ahead, sorry.
Balancing that is being able to spread out that touch that you're giving. And then when you are ready, just say, like, hey, I need a favor, or hey, can I ask you something?
So no, you're fine. You're fine. So tell everybody, for those that are watching now or that are gonna watch this later, what are you doing now? Because I'm seeing the dancing in the back. I would love you to make a play for that. And
I'm also a Disney nerd.
I see. That's how you were hiding that. That's fantastic.
I'm a Disney nerd. I can't help it. So yes, I jokingly say that I have a day job and a night job. So, but I love both equally, and I love the opportunities for each. So if you can't tell, I'm a little bit of an extrovert. I love the fact that I do business development for Sharp. I work for a company in Melbourne called 80 Solutions. And I love that here I get to work with specifically the small local community to really build up, like, some of them, they need technology, they need services, and I can help them get that. My other job, as fun as it is, I actually teach East Coast swing and Lindy Hop swing here in Brevard.
That is so fun.
And I've been here teaching dance about part-time about 4 years with Phoenix Dance.
Nice. And so how do people reach you if they want to reach you?
So for the technology end, because there's not a whole lot of overlap, for the technology end, you can reach me here on LinkedIn, Jade Dorminey. My email is also attached. Jade Dorminey
Cool.
at my ADS USA. In my bio will also have my phone number. I'm
Okay.
here. I'm supposed to tell you 8 to 5. I'm really here most times, early and late.
Okay.
The things you
Right.
do for the people you love. Dance wise, you can honestly connect with me here by LinkedIn. I do have a separate page for my dance, separate way of keeping track of everything because that's on a scheduled basis.
Nice.
Right
And do
now, I'm
you do
booked up for
any?
weddings.
Yeah, nice. Do you do any dance stuff online? Like help people with that online too, or
Not
not?
yet,
Hmm.
but I am actually working with some leaders here in Brevard to open up a studio for a live music
Fun.
venue. Similar to those of you that are in the Orlando area may remember Whirland Whirl, something similar to that.
Very cool. Very cool. So is there anything else that you would like folks to know about networking, growing your network personally or professionally?
First and foremost, be yourself and don't be
Mm.
afraid to be organic with it. In the age of social media, sometimes the old-fashioned way of just talking with someone is the best way to build it.
Simple, right? Simple. I saw we were connected to Janet and I want to get to know you um or
You popped up on
you're
my suggested. I saw what you
yeah,
do. I
there
was
we
curious.
go.
Do you mind if we
That's
talk?
right. That's right. I was curious. I love curiosity. That's
Or the
fantastic.
old-fashioned elevator. Hey, what do you do?
Yep, yep, right. Or well, what I like to say is what sets your heart on fire. Because it may not actually be what you do.
That is true. I never thought about that. I'm actually going to write that
Yeah.
one down.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? What
Writing that
sets
one
your heart on
down.
fire? I know dance is one of yours.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it's just both my day job and the dance portion both tie into just wanting to help people. That's
Yeah,
for me what
that's cool.
networking is. It's a chance to help people.
Right, and give back. I love that. Thank you, Jade.
Thank
This
you,
was
Michelle.
fun.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good to chat with you,
Yeah.
and, I think that's it for now, and I will see you online.
Oh yeah. Always. All right. Take care, Miss
Thanks.
Michelle.
Bye.